Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, but you can call me Pajama Grandma. Today, in this episode, we're going to talk about dwelling on the problem. Do you dwell on the problem? I hate to admit it, painful confession, but I used to be a terrible, terrible problem dweller. I would have a problem or something would come up in my life and I would spend inordinate amounts of time thinking about the problem, worrying about the problem, wondering about the problem, dwelling on what had happened, reliving it over and over and over again. And I didn't just do it with my own problems. I did it with other people's problems. I would do it with my husband's problems. I would do it with my mom's problems. I would do it with my sister's problems. I would do it with my kids' problems. I would take on not only my own problems, but everybody else's problems too. And today, I really wanted to talk about that because I drew a card I do a what's called Pajama Grandma segment every morning, and I talk to people about, we're doing a fun thing till the end of the year. We're pulling a wisdom, a well-being, and a wealth card from 3 different decks. I love these card decks. They're really summaries of books, and I have probably 25, 30 of them because I love them, because depending on how I'm feeling or about something or what I'm thinking about, I can grab one of these cards and I can carry it with me throughout my day. And it reminds me to think about what I want to think about, not what necessarily my brain tracks me to, or the things that are happening around me divert my attention to. So today's was about the law of attraction adds power to both problems and solutions. And I realized I don't know that I've ever really talked much about this. Because I've worked really hard over the past decade or so to not be a problem dweller and focus on the problems, but to be more solution oriented and to focus on the solutions. But whenever a problem comes up, it's easy to dwell on and think about the problem, especially, say, for example, you lose a job. Been there, done that, lost jobs before. And my problem was I need a job. I need money right now to support my family. And so sometimes it would be easier to dwell on and think about, okay, all the things that you did wrong in that job and why you don't have that job anymore. And instead of focusing on, okay, I don't have a job, I need to make money, what am I going to do to get a job fast? And as soon as you switch your brain from why you don't have that job anymore, and a lot of times it's not your fault. I mean, a lot of times it's just a business change or an environmental change that reduces the necessity for your job, or the company that you were working for can't afford to have that job anymore. And so they let you go. Well, thinking about that or thinking you did something wrong because you're not there anymore will not help you get another job. It will do just the opposite. So as soon as you can switch your gears from thinking about the problem to the solution, the faster you'll achieve that solution, the faster you'll get that new job and get what you want. That's what I had to learn to do. You know, the first time I got laid off, I felt really, really bad and took it personally. The second time and the third time and the fourth time, hey, it wasn't about me. And that same, as soon as I heard I was maybe going to get let go, I started to put into action what I needed to do to have the next source of income for me and my family. So a job, what's the next? Ask yourself when a problem arises, okay, what do I do right now about this? If something happens with our health especially seems to be the one that just stops us in our tracks, because it's not something we ever think about. I think that we all believe, in no uncertain terms, that we're like invincible and that nothing bad is ever going to happen to us. And then we get sick, or we get an illness, or we get, even a cold or the flu can just knock us right out and then bring us back around to readjusting certain things in our lives. But we need to remember that instead of focusing on, oh, I feel so terrible, I feel awful, I guarantee that colds last longer for people because they focus on all of their symptoms and on how bad they feel, versus focusing on, okay, well, what can I do to feel better? And then just doing the things that you do to feel better. A lot of times it's just simple things like, say, a cold, for example, eat chicken soup, get plenty of fluids, get some rest, move and get some action. If you keep moving, I always say about a cold, I'm going to feel bad for 2 weeks with a cold, whether I'm taking action and moving or not. So I might as well be moving and doing things, because I feel better when I'm moving and going out about my life than if I was just laying in bed feeling miserable. Because if you're laying in bed feeling miserable, you feel worse. The same is true. If one of my favorite things to talk to people about is I don't have enough money, not enough money. How many people do you know that dwell on, I can't afford this, I don't have enough money? like about 98% of the population, right? That's their first thought. And instead of asking themselves the question, how can I afford this? How can I make this happen in my life? Who does have the money? Who does have access to the resources that I could use to get what I want? And how could I creatively partner with them or do all kinds of things? Because there's infinite possibilities and ways to make things happen, especially with respect to money. There's no shortage of money on this planet. There's trillions of dollars, and they're making new money every day. They're making new computer numbers every day to create more money and create more funds. So all of these things, all of these dwelling on the problem and focusing on the problem, just add more energy to the problem and create it and have it go on and on and on in our lives. And I remember when I first discovered this and realized that if I focus on the solution, if I focus on what I want, that gives energy to that. And pretty soon the solution is a part of my life way faster than if I ever thought about the problem. So now it's kind of a contest for me. As soon as a problem or a situation comes up in my life, I kind of test myself and see how quickly I can switch from thinking about the problem to focusing on the solution. And then brainstorming. And I love brainstorming and writing things down. I will immediately start brainstorming all the possibilities of dealing with a particular situation or solution instead of focusing on the problem and dwelling on the problem. I challenge you today to do that as well. As soon as a problem or a situation pops up in your life, grab out a piece of paper and just start writing down, well, what are all the possible ways of dealing with this? How can I afford this? Ask a better question. How can I solve this problem? What is the solution to this problem? What is the quickest, fastest, easiest way to get me moving toward the direction I want to be in terms of solving this particular problem? No matter what it is in your life, you can use this to solve any type of challenge or problem. So that's it. That's my don't dwell on or do you dwell on problems question for today. Go out, make it a fantastic day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye. Pajama Grandma out.